how's it going? Welcome to yet another fan art piece. But where this one is different is it's actually a redraw. You see, about 2 years ago I drew this drawing, and, 2 years have passed since then, so I wanted to redraw it, which is why I'm super excited about this, because I like it! But, I also know I'm going to have to redraw it eventually because I forgot details. So fun. So very fun. But anyway, the drawing that I drew 2 years ago was one that I had come up with for a story I was gonna write, but I have since then decided I'm not going to write it because it's a story for me and me only, because it's cringy. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I liked it. And it was the first drawing I had ever drawn with the drawing tablet that I'm currently using to make my videos, so that's cool, especially to see that that drawing tablet is still here 2 years later. It's not 2 years quite yet, but it'll be 2 years come February. Anyway, it's still here, I still love it, it still works perfectly, and it's so good. But back then, I was also not happy, so getting a new drawing tablet and drawing a drawing with that drawing tablet made me extremely happy. So there's that to look back on too. This drawing, this one that's being shown right now took about 3 hours. It was exhausting, but I was excited about it because I wanted to show off some improvement, because this channel is about improvement, even though I say that in every single video and people are going to inevitably get tired of me saying it. I'm going to repeat it because you know what, that's exactly what it is. And even though I've decided that I'm not going to write this story because I just kind of want it for myself and nobody else because I'm selfish that way, I can give a few details at least. The story was basically, it literally started with Sandersides. But this scene in particular was what caught my attention the most with the idea that I had. But basically, it is with marine biologist Sean. Basically, Sean had been in college for marine biology, and this was in a world where supernatural creatures not only existed, but people knew they existed. They were just a rare commodity. But anyway, because he's such a great guy, basically what marine biologist Sean had done was he had used what money he had had from his growing popularity as a scientist and biologist and whatever else, that he kind of bought an aquarium to turn into a mansion that was also a rehabilitation center for different marine life, and some of that marine life consisted of supernatural creatures like sirens and merpeople. And the Sandersides characters were merpeople that basically, it was Roman, Logan, and Virgil that were just minding their own, living their life in the wide open ocean when they got captured, kidnapped, whatever you want to call it, and they were almost sold on the black market, but Mr. In Disguise marine biologist was like, no, I'll bid the highest amount of money so that nobody else can get them, and I'll take them back to my rehabilitation center. But back to the more important character who's on screen is Dark Applier, who basically has been in the rehabilitation center for longer than Roman, Logan, and Virgil. But anyway, he's not nice. He is a very violent creature who's very angry all the time because they couldn't figure it out at first, and later on in the story they figure it out, but again, that's not important right now. But he's not able to be released. When Sean first found him, he was hoping really bad that he'd be able to take this siren in, rehabilitate him, and let him back into the wild where he belongs, but because of half of one of his fins being ripped off, that's not exactly possible. So poor Dark is forced to stay in the facility, and he's lonely, but they don't figure that out until later. And it gets sad before it gets better. But that's basically the story. It's a guy it's Sean trying to be a good person who's trying to rehabilitate sea creatures, who finds a particularly mean sea creature that he's even more determined to, rehabilitate. But that's the extent of the details I'm willing to get into on that story, because again, the rest of it is cringy. I will also say, though, that in the story, basically Sean finds himself with this really weird fascination with dark, but it thankfully doesn't go any further than a weird fascination. But, speaking of characters who are in this story, Dr. Schneepelstein is also in this story, and basically I managed to make that work by not only making him a human doctor who studied human biology and the things you need to be a doctor for humans, but he also did the same thing with sea creatures. So that's why he is a doctor in a rehabilitation center for marine life. And Marvin is his boyfriend. Anyway, that's about as far as I'm willing to go in the story of... I just snapped my shoulder, whoops. But that's as far as I'm willing to go into the story. The rest of it is for me only. It'll never be written, ever. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of the speed paint with these notes in mind. I've said before that I like drawing backgrounds, and that whole thing was a lot more complicated than the original drawing. But hey, I'm happy with it. And I just, in the foreground, or the main ground, I don't know, just my shading and stuff like that has gotten better as well, I think. I hope so. And I'll also say, there was a point where the video cuts, but then like the end product is not what you see in the video. That's because I had stopped recording. I thought I was done with the drawing. I even posted it on my Instagram account, and then realized it wasn't done yet. I had forgotten the glass, and I forgot to draw the glass. So I went back in and put the glass there, but I forgot to turn on OBS again. So that's a thing. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. And hey, if you have the ability to do so, I haven't said this in a while, believe it or not, you should take a nap. You deserve it.